There is a profound silence that exists inside your home. It is not the silence of an empty room, but a quiet, living presence that follows you from the kitchen to the couch and finally to the foot of your bed. You look at them, your dog, resting with their chin on their paws, and you see peace. You see a creature that is fed, sheltered, and deeply loved. And you were right, they are loved. But sometimes that silence you see isn't peace. It is patience. It is a quiet, desperate tolerance of things that confuse them, scare them, or hurt them, simply because they trust you too much to run away. We often forget that we are two entirely different species trying to share a single life. We are primates, obsessed with touch, verbal complexity, and complex social rules. They are canines, driven by scent, body language, and instinctual hierarchy. In the gap between these two worlds, a lot of hearts get broken. Not out of cruelty, but out of a tragic mistranslation. We hurt them not because we want to, but because we assume they feel love the same way we do. Today, we need to have a difficult conversation. We are going to walk through the everyday habits, things you might have done this very morning, that secretly erode the trust between you and your best friend. This isn't about training, it is about empathy. It is about learning to see the world through eyes that cannot speak but are always watching you, waiting for you to understand. Consider the way you greet them. For a human, the ultimate sign of affection is the embrace. We wrap our arms around the people we love, we pull them close to our chests, we bury our faces in their hair. It is how we say, "I have you, you are safe." Naturally, we do this to our dogs. You might come home after a long day, drop to your knees and wrap your arms tightly around their neck, squeezing them with all the love you have. You feel their warmth, and you feel better. But if you were to freeze that moment and look at the reality of it, the picture changes. In the canine world, placing a limb over another animal's neck or shoulders is not a gesture of comfort. It is a gesture of dominance. It is a challenge. Or worse, to a dog that is shy or anxious, a tight hug feels like a trap. When a predator catches prey, they pin them down, they restrict movement. When you lock your arms around your dog, you are stripping away their most basic survival instinct, the ability to flee. Watch their face the next time you do this. Do not look at what you want to see, look at what is there. Are their ears pinned back against their skull? Is their mouth closed tightly? Are they leaning ever so slightly away from you? Perhaps you see the whites of their eyes, that crescent moon shape known as whale eye. These are not signs of enjoyment. These are polite screams. Your dog is freezing up, tolerating your affection because you are their leader and they do not want to escalate the situation. They are waiting for you to let go. It is a heartbreaking realization to think that your moment of love was their moment of stress. Instead of the crushing hug, try the language they understand. A gentle lean against their side, a soft scratch behind the ears while giving them space to move. Let them come to you. Let the affection be a choice they make, not a prison they are forced into. Then there's the issue of how we navigate the world outside our front door. The walk. For you, the walk is a chore, or perhaps a fitness goal. It is a journey from point A to point B to empty the bladder and return home. You walk with purpose, checking your watch, pulling on the leash whenever they stop to sniff a patch of grass or a fire hydrant. You yank them along, saying, "Come on, leave it, let's go." You think you are keeping them focused. But imagine, for a moment, that you are the only person in your family who cannot read. You cannot watch television, you cannot understand the radio, and you have no internet. The only way you get information about the world is through a single daily newspaper. Now imagine that every time you sit down to read the headlines, someone snatches the paper from your hands and drags you out of the room. That is what you do when you drag a dog away from a scent. Smell is their vision. It is how they tell time. It is how they know who walked by 3 hours ago, whether they were male or female, friendly or stressed. It is their social media, their news, and their mental stimulation. A 20-minute walk where they are allowed to sniff freely is more exhausting and satisfying to their brain than an hour of mindless running. When we deny them this, when we turn the walk into a military march, we are severing their connection to the world. We are turning a time of discovery into a time of frustration. They return home with their bodies tired, but their minds wired and anxious because they never got to finish reading the neighborhood. Slow down. It is their walk, not yours. If they want to spend 2 minutes decoding the scent on a tree trunk, let them. You are not just exercising their legs, you are honoring their nature. But perhaps the most damaging misunderstandings happen inside the house, in the way we communicate our disappointment. We have all seen the guilty dog videos. The owner comes home to find a torn pillow or a mess on the rug. They point a finger, voice raised, asking, "What did you do?" The dog cowers. They squint their eyes, lower their head, maybe even thump their tail nervously. We look at that and say, "See, he knows he did something wrong. He feels guilty." But science tells us a different, sadder story. Dogs do not feel guilt in the way humans do. Guilt is a complex emotion tied to a moral code and a timeline. What you are seeing is not remorse for a pillow destroyed 4 hours ago. What you are seeing is fear, pure, immediate fear of you. Dogs live entirely in the present tense. If you do not catch them in the act, they cannot connect your anger now with the action they took hours ago. When you yell at them for a past mistake, they don't think, "I shouldn't have eaten the trash." They think, "My owner is unstable. My owner is dangerous right now." The guilty look is actually a collection of appeasement signals, postures designed to calm down an aggressor. They are trying to say, "Please don't hurt me. I am small. I am harmless." When we scold them for things they cannot understand, we become unpredictable terrors in their lives. We erode the foundation of safety that is essential for a dog's mental health. Imagine living with a boss who walks in and screams at you randomly, and you never know why. You wouldn't respect that boss. You would just be terrified of them. Correction must be immediate, or it must not happen at all. If you missed the moment, the mistake is yours, not theirs. Clean it up and forgive them, because they have already forgotten. This need for predictability extends to the rules we set. There is a specific kind of anxiety that comes from inconsistency, and it is rampant in modern households. We treat our dogs like humans one day and animals the next. One evening, you are feeling affectionate, so you invite them up onto the couch. You cuddle, you give them table scraps, you let them jump up on you. The next day, you are wearing nice clothes, or you are in a bad mood, so when they jump up, you push them down. When they go to the couch, you shout no. This inconsistency is psychological torture for a pack animal. In a pack, the rules are absolute. Hierarchy is clear. Boundaries are known. When the rules change based on your mood, the dog creates a state of chronic stress. They become like a gambler at a slot machine, never knowing if their action will result in a reward or a punishment. This is often why dogs develop what we call behavioral problems. A dog that constantly begs, jumps, or acts out is often a dog that is desperately testing the boundaries to see where they stand. They're asking, "What are the rules today?" By failing to provide clear black and white boundaries, we deny them the ability to relax. A strict owner is not a mean owner. A strict owner is a clear owner. And clarity is the kindest language you can speak to a dog. They want to know exactly what is expected of them, because in that certainty, they find safety. When the rules are always the same, they don't have to worry. They can just be dogs. We also hurt them when we force them into social situations they are not equipped to handle. There is a pervasive myth that all dogs should be friendly with all other dogs and all humans. We push them into dog parks, dragging them towards strangers, saying, "He's friendly, say hi," while our dog is stiff, tail tucked, trying to hide behind our legs. We ignore their subtle pleas for space because we want them to be the good dog who loves everyone. But dogs, like people, have different social batteries. Some are extroverts, many are introverts. Some carry trauma we cannot see. When a dog is uncomfortable and we force them to interact, we are teaching them that we will not protect them. We are teaching them that they are on their own. This is how bites happen. A dog growls, a low rumble in the chest. It is a warning. It is the polite way of saying, "I am uncomfortable, please back away." But what do? We punish the growl. We shout no or pop their leash. We suppress the warning system. But we have not removed the fear. We have only taken away their ability to speak about it. So, the next time, the dog doesn't growl. They just bite. We must learn to respect the no. If your dog pulls away from a hand, let them. If they hide behind you when a stranger approaches, tell the stranger, no, he needs space today. Be their advocate. When your dog realizes that you will handle the threats, that you will protect their personal space so they don't have to, you will see a transformation. Their anxiety will drop because they know the leader has everything under control. There is another subtler way we break their spirit, and we often do it thinking it is a game. Teasing. You hold a piece of cheese out, and when they reach for it, you pull it back. You laugh. You do it again. Or you point a laser pointer at the floor, watching them frantically chase a red dot they can never catch. To us, this is play. It looks funny. To a dog whose entire biology is wired for the hunt and catch cycle, this is deeply frustrating. The laser pointer, in particular, triggers their prey drive but denies them the dopamine release of the catch. It can create obsessive-compulsive behaviors where they stare at shadows for hours waiting for the light to return. And teasing with food or toys attacks the trust bond. You are the provider of resources. You are the source of all good things. When you use those resources to trick or mock them, you become unreliable. You become a source of frustration rather than security. Play with them, challenge them, but always let them win in the end. Let them catch the ball, give them the treat. Let them feel the victory, not the futility. We also have to talk about the pain of separation and how we make it worse. We live in a world where we are inseparable from our devices, but our dogs are inseparable from us. They are our entire world. When we leave, it is a significant event. But many of us make the mistake of projecting our own human guilt on the departure. We make a scene. We say, "I'm so sorry, I'll be back soon, be a good boy," using a high-pitched, emotional voice. We pet them nervously. We linger. This performance does not comfort the dog. It validates their anxiety. Your dog reads your energy. If you're acting emotional and strange before you leave, they think something is wrong. Leaving is dangerous. I should be worried. Then you close the door and the panic sets in. We often return home to the same chaotic energy, high-pitched greetings, frantic petting. This confirms to the dog that your absence was a tragedy and your return is a rescue. To protect their hearts, we have to be stronger. We have to make coming and going a non-event. It sounds cold, but it is kind. Ignore them for 10 minutes before you leave. Walk out the door calmly, without a word. When you return, ignore them until they're calm. This teaches them that separation is normal, boring, and temporary. It lifts the burden of worry off their shoulders. Finally, there is the matter of the gaze. In the human world, eye contact is connection. We look deeply into the eyes of those we love. But in the animal kingdom, a hard, fixed stare is a threat. It is the signal before an attack. We often stare at our dogs to admire them or to try to communicate telepathically. But if you stare too hard, too long, and without blinking, you might notice them looking away. They might lick their lips. They might yawn. These are stress signals. They're trying to diffuse the tension you are creating. They're asking you to stop threatening them. Soften your gaze. Blink slowly. Turn your head slightly to the side. In dog language, looking away is an act of trust. It says, "I am not scanning for weakness. I am comfortable enough to take my eyes off you." The truth is, your dog does not need you to be perfect. They do not need you to be a professional trainer or a dog whisperer. They just need you to be present and to be willing to learn their language. They spend their entire lives studying us, memorizing our schedule, learning the sound of our car engine, reading the micro-expressions on our faces. They do all of this just to be closer to us. The least we can do is try to return the favor. Look at them tonight. Really look at them. Strip away the human projections, the cute outfits, and the English sentences we imagine they're saying. See the animal. See the predator that chose to become a companion. See the creature that communicates in silence, in scent, and in energy. When you stop trying to force them to be a little human and start respecting them as a dog, you don't lose the connection. You deepen it. You move from a relationship based on ownership to a relationship based on understanding. And that is the only way to ensure that the silence in your home is not just patience, but true shared peace.